You are tired of feeling angry and stressed all of the time. It's relatable. You experience anger and frustration every single day, and that leaves you feeling tired and exhausted by the end of the day. And then the cycle repeats.
Are you gonna ask us our major malfunctions? Cause mine is I care too much.
You can't go on like this. You might have developed this habit in childhood where anger was the only means of communication in your household, or you have experienced anger in strained relationships, or you are angry because you feel isolated and rejected by society. There are thousands of reasons as to why we experience anger. And reacting to a situation with anger feels like an itch you want to scratch. But anger breeds anger, and this vicious cycle needs to stop today, as the only person you're hurting is yourself. So let's start with understanding anger. Anger starts with a trigger. It's a feeling that often arises when we feel threatened or things just don't go our way. It can show up in many different forms: irritability, rage, frustration, even just plain annoyance. Like, I got racked off the other day because my coffee machine wasn't working, and my caffeine addiction heightened that rage. And I was so peed off in that situation that I didn't know what to do. I was frustrated that I didn't have any coffee in the morning, and I was fretting about the cost of a new machine. My anger was understandable because I was reacting to a stimuli that had affected me. But did reacting this way solve my situation? No. Did it miraculously fix my coffee machine? No. Instead, I ended up waking up my flatmate, and he was confused and upset as to why I was raging in the kitchen alone. Because I was having a meltdown over a machine not working. You understand how childish that sounds? Now, anger isn't bad. It's a natural response that ultimately we can't get rid of. But what we can control is our response to it. It can alert us when something isn't right. But when it's unmanaged, it leads to poor decisions, stress, and strained relationships. So today I will walk you through the steps, and I'll give you practical techniques to try and manage that fiery emotion and keep your peace of mind intact. Most importantly, prevent you from hurting yourself emotionally and the people around you, because nobody wants to be around the person that's angry. I was at the gym yesterday, and this gorgeous girl walked past me, and then she got really angry about a treadmill not working, and I was like, it instantly made her a little bit less attractive in my mind because she was getting so angry at a treadmill. You see what I mean here? She was less attractive and unapproachable because of the way she was expressing her anger. When you're in a blind rage, you aren't attractive to anyone. People are instead scared of you. That is not the energy we want. Step 1 in managing anger is awareness. This is about catching yourself early with your angry thoughts before they spiral into something much worse. Often we don't realise how angry we are until we're fully blown upset. But if we can tune into our bodies and pick up on the early signs of anger, like clenching your fists, clenching your teeth, or shallow breathing, like you can feel your blood spike and get a prickling sensation when you're angry. That is your body preparing for combat. Me, I was ready to go 5 rounds with my coffee machine. See, I'm fighting invisible demons. Stop swearing! Stop swearing, Isla! Okay. And if you drive, you'll notice that there's a lot of twonks on the road.
All over now. Why are you crying?
Why do you hate me?
Who got their license from Legoland. And they tend to do silly things. Like, oh my god, I can remember when I was in Cyprus, yeah, and this guy, no word of a lie, was driving backwards on their motorway system. Like, he must have been on a different planet. Like, I don't know what was going on there, but if you drive, you'll understand, like, some people genuinely, how do you dress yourself? Anyways, catch yourself before you start emotionally reacting. Well, this chair is so squeaky. This is why you don't pick up things that you found on the street. Sorry guys, I'm just really eco-friendly and don't want to spend money on things. Anyways, catch yourself before you start emotionally reacting to people, whether that's on the road or just in day-to-day interactions. And I know it's hard in driving because you're driving a 10-ton vehicle that can unalive you or somebody else. And this is a good thing because it keeps us alert on the road. At least some of us. And this situation can be applied to anything, whether it's a colleague that's upset you or a family member that's misunderstood you. The trick here is catching those emotional feelings before they escalate into full-blown anger. And when you start to feel the tension building and your blood spiking and you're angry, take a moment to just pause and check in with yourself. If you keep seeing me look to the left, it's because my window's there and there's a massive storm going on in the UK. If you know, you know. It's called Stormlight. I don't know. Anyways, it's been interesting to see what's been going on and how the Scottish public are reacting to this storm. Like, I was in Tesco yesterday, yeah? About 9-10 p.m. Look at the shelves. Ransacked. We have a storm for one day and the British people think they're going in lockdown again. All the bog rolls were gone. Why are we like this as British people? You know what I worry about? I just worry about the animals. I hope the animals are okay. I love animals. Okay, I've got some questions for you to ask yourself. Do you actually need to react to this situation? Or do you just need to understand this situation? And when you feel anger rising, just try this. Breathe in for 5, hold for 5, and then release for 5. And if you repeat that a few times, it helps re-regulate your nervous system, which controls everything in your body. Breathing like this activates your body's relaxation response, slowing down your heart rate, calming your mind, nervous systems, chilling. It's so easy and you can do it whenever and wherever. And after this, you're grounded. You're not in fight or flight mode, but you're normal and you can respond to a situation intelligently rather than emotionally. So when you feel your anger bubbling up, ask yourself, what is really bothering me? Is it really that deep? And can I change anything right now? And the answer to that is yes, your emotional reaction to it. By reflecting, you gain perspective. You may realise that the situation isn't actually as bad as you thought. If it is a bad situation, recognise that, but anger isn't going to change it, is it? And there's so much power that can be felt by just taking a pause, so that you can choose how you respond. This is what intelligent people do. Rather than reacting impulsively and emotionally and then punching a monster energy-fueled hole in the wall. Anger, in essence, is just your reaction to feeling misunderstood. That's all. There's no other reason to be angry. It's the egoic mind on overdrive. And my video, How to Get Rid of Anxiety, is a deep dive into this subject. And it explains how all of our emotional problems are a result of our attachment to ego. And watch it if you want to understand what I mean by ego. Now on this channel, I do not advocate for a rose-tinted lens on life, because life isn't all sunshine and rainbows. We are realistic here. It's all about give and take. Everything in life exists in polarities, good, bad, right and wrong. And remember, in a room full of too much light, you are blinded. And anger is a normal emotional response. And there's no shame in feeling it. Instead of criticising yourself, be kind. Because remember, anger breeds anger. You've probably heard of this experiment before. But there was a study done by IKEA where they had 2 identical plants that were given the same nutrition, same exposure to sunlight, and were physically treated the same. But emotionally, they were spoken to differently. The left plant was bullied and shouted at, and this stunted its growth. Whereas the right one was spoken to with kind words and shown lots of affection emotionally. It flourished. The idea was to see if plants responded to positive and negative attention, essentially through sound waves. Now see yourself as a plant. You have 2 choices here. You can choose to speak to yourself and react to the people around you like shiz and stunt your own growth, or you can flourish and become the best version of yourself by loving you, by being mindful of your actions and your words towards yourself and other people. By clicking on this video and watching to the end, that shows that you're already halfway there. You want to improve yourself. You're going to be like the plant on the right. Keep watering yourself with words of confirmation rather than confrontation. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next week. Baby, you and me are a twisted fantasy. Don't embarrass yourself.